used it, EA Sports has used it, and it was even featured in one of the Grand Theft Auto games. Judas Priest, You Got Another Thing Coming. I remember our band playing this song in the early 80s when it was on the charts, and it was the only Judas Priest song to hit the charts. But a great rock and roll selection, a real crowd pleaser, and a real crowd pleaser for Judas Priest concerts. Here's 1982, heavy metal band Judas Priest, You Got Another Thing Coming. All right, this is going to be fun. It's not often at Song Mentor that we have a real good straight-ahead rock and roll headbanger like You Got Another Thing Coming. The song is based around the F5 power chord, and the first thing that you should know is that you should tune your guitar up and your amp up so you're getting a fair bit of overdrive here. This is borderline heavy metal rock. In fact, would be classified as heavy metal rock, so you want a real get a real nice overdriven sound there. And as I was saying, the song is all based around the F5 chord. It's actually an F minor chord, but because we don't play down to the fourth string, I really don't sense that minor presence, but you want to get a lot of overdrive, and you want to hammer down downstrokes, good solid head banger downstrokes on the 6 and 5 strings there. And the other thing that's essential to this song is the palm muting, the muting of the strings with the palm of my hand that's going on here. They're not open. And that sound, that heavy metal sound that I'm getting there, is as a result of two things: the overdrive setting that I have on my pedal in this case, or your amplifier, and the palm muting. Like that, sort of. We'll get into some other chords that you're going to need here, and they again are all 5 style chords, meaning basically 2-note chords, power chords. The F5 we've already talked about. The B power chord, B5 power chord, which is just basically that A chord formation up to here. You're going to need a D5 power chord, and that's that same as that B chord. Slide it up 3 frets and pick down on 5 and 4. You're also going to need an A5 power chord for the bridge section to go along with that D. You're going to need an A5. Again, that's just a power A bar chord, but strumming down, picking hard down on 6 and 5. And a couple times in the song, you're going to need a C sharp 5. So it basically, for the chorus, for example, goes and goes to that C sharp 5. So that's basically it. Once we do all the little connectors and picking, riffing kinds of things and add them to this song, you need the F5, the B5, the D5, the A5, and the C sharp 5. We're going to get to know this entire song if we understand how to play those 2-note power chords and have the guitar set properly. All right, let's start off with the intro. And the intro of the song, it just kicks right in. And we've got a steady downbeat from the drummer and a steady bass line. Oh, boom, 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 that. And we've got this happening. And this doesn't stop happening. I just can't do both right now. So this is what begins the song. And there's 4 bars of this. I'll count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So 4 bars of that, and then we get the intro stuff, which is this. And those are our first 3 chords that we play. We play this. I'm going to show you what that is. I'm playing it. There's a couple different ways you could play this. There's really 3 different ways you could play it. You could play it with a bar, and that would be a little bit awkward. You can play it sort of the way I'm playing it here, with your 2nd and 3rd fingers. The best way to play it is probably to take your 1st finger and bar it across the first 3 strings at the 4th fret, and then add your 2nd finger to the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Now when I pick down, I'm only going to pick down on strings 3 and 2. And I can vibrate that a little bit. And that's just a 2-note power chord. It's a higher noted power chord, but and the 2nd chord I'm going to play is that B5 power chord. This time I'm going to pick down though on strings 4 and 3 rather than include the 5. So it's and then the 3rd one is the F power chord. So again, starting off 2, 3, 4. And then the next little bit we get is like this. So what I'm doing there is playing an, basically I'm in an A5 formation, A chord formation, and I'm picking down on strings 4 and 3. I'm using my thumb for this. I've seen guys do this. Use their 2nd finger to hammer down on the F sharp note of the low E string, but I'm using my thumb because it's right there. So it's pick, and then slide up to the B formation. I'm doing that B power chord, but this time I'm sliding up. The reason I slide up, of course, is now I'm right in position to start again. I'm right in position to start that again. So just to walk slowly through that intro again, it's a boom 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 boom. Now the 2nd time through, instead of heading back into that opening riff, that opening chord there, it finishes like this. Okay, so this is the same, but instead of sliding this up this time to that B chord, this time I'm going to use my pinky to grab it. And now I'm in position to get back to that F5 chord. So the whole intro played through slowly. 1, 2, 3. And then we're into the first verse. All right, we're going to divide the verse into parts 1 and part 2, and part 1 of the verse consists largely of lingering on that F5 power chord. So every time there's a lyric being sung, it's basically hammered through with the palm muting on the F5 chord, and then as soon as that little vocal line of lyric is done, there's a little bit of riffing that goes on, something like this. One life, I'm gonna live it up. And then the next line. And so it plays through a line like that, does that little riff, and then sings the next line, does the riff again. And the riff is like this. So, and this is all based around an F sharp minor formation. So all I'm doing there is picking down on 5 and 4 and hammering on the 4th fret of the 5th and 4th strings with my 3rd finger and pinky. And then, when I've got them back down, I take my bar finger and take it off the 6th string and hammer it back down onto the 2nd fret. Okay, I'm going to slow that down and give you one more look at it a little bit closer here, and then we'll get the right hand as well. Okay, right hand. Okay, and that's verse part 1. Okay, verse part 2 is this sequence of chording that I alluded to earlier in the lesson, where we go from the F sharp 5 up to the D5, down to the B5, and then back to F sharp 5. Second time through, F sharp 5, D5, B5, C sharp 5, and we hammer that a bit, and then we get into the chorus. That takes us into the chorus. So it's played like this. 1, 2, 3. Now it's delayed. You hear that? This little there's a little half rest before you actually hit the chord. 1, 2, 3. And into the chorus. So again, 1, 2, 3, rest. Rest. And then we're into the chorus, which we'll cover right now. Actually, we won't cover it right now. What we'll do first is review, which means let's do a playthrough of the introduction and a verse part 1, verse part 2 put together with vocals. And then we'll be up to date. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Taking flights and I'll never get enough. Standing tall, I'm young and I'm kinda proud. On the top, as long as the music's loud. If you think I'll sit around as the world goes by, you'll think I like a fool, 'cause it's a case of do or die. I'm famous a fortune waiting to be had. If you think I'll let it go, you're mad. You got another thing coming. You got another thing coming.
Okay, I apologize a little bit for my phrasing there. It's been a long time since I sang that song live on stage, and obviously if I were to do it again, I'd have to go over the phrasing a little bit. But one of the things I did notice is that there's that 2 octave below singing going along with it, and that's part of the Judas Priest. One life, I'm gonna live it up. It's kind of the dark, adding a dark element to the vocal there. So I did try to put that in. It's not a harmony vocal, but an octave vocal, but not 1 octave below, but 2 octaves below. Okay, getting to the chorus now. You got another thing coming. I want to show you that riff because it's the You Got Another Thing Coming riff. Again, this is all based around that F5 chord, the F5 minor formation, and we're playing just the open bar. We're playing strings 4 and 3 there, and then we're hammering down again on that minor, on the 4th fret of the 5th and 4th strings. So it's just playing this and then hammering and then playing that again. And then going up to the B5 chord. And that's the riff for the chorus. Now we just need to show you that bridge part, and we have the whole song. Okay, the bridge section. We'll see if we can make you laugh here, because my voice is humanly incapable of screaming at the end of this bridge section the way he does. So we'll falsetto that and maybe make you laugh. So this bridge section is played coming out of a double You Got Another Thing Coming. At the end of it he does the wailing screaming, and the C sharp 5 chord, and then it heads into the guitar solo. So it's played something like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4.
In this world we're living in, we have our share of sorrow. And so now we're still giving an aim for a new tomorrow.
Okay, no special effects on that, just silly effects. There's another thing coming, Judas Priest. Here's some fine tuning. Again, the sound, the palm muting are the keys, and that choppy feel that you get. All that stuff going on gives it that hard driving sound. Of course, this is going to sound a ton better with a bass guitar driving the thing and your kick drum driving it, etc. And remember that all the little riffs that you're playing, all that stuff, this is going on behind it all. So when you've got a full group of guys or gals playing this, it's going to be a lot better and a lot heavier. Heavy metal. Judas Priest, You Got Another Thing Coming. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.